And we are live. Hello to all my BC WrestlePod nerds out there, and welcome to another rendition of Dual Dynasty, your weekly WWE review show here at the BC WrestlePod Networking Syndicate Conglomeration Podcasting YouTube Twitch dumb thing we do pretty much every day of the week except for Thursdays.
Iconics BDASSGDYT, whatever.
BDSM, what?
I mean, you said it. That's not me. That's on you, Mikey.
That is very fair. The whole squad is well, at least 3/4 of the squad is here. One of us is currently competing in a Magic tournament where fingers and toes crossed that he wins so he can get that card because
I'm learning their ways.
Don't even get me started. I am trying to teach myself the Disney Lorcana game, which is like Magic, but for Disney. So it's been a learning curve. But I am your host, Mikey. I appreciate y'all for being here this morning / afternoon / evening, depending on where you are in the world. And of course, I do have some of my co-hosts with me. First and foremost, you know him, you love him. He is the Professor. So, Professor, I'm happy to have you here.
Yeah, I heard a lot about Raw, so I went back and watched snippets of it and did a little bit of research and reviews and things. Raw sounded ridiculous. I don't know how the matches were, but I know all the drama around it.
It's going to be crazy for sure. I'm excited to talk about SmackDown actually too, because SmackDown, I actually enjoyed SmackDown.
It was pretty good in this post John Cena heel era that we find ourselves in.
For reals. And then of course, finishing out our trio of hosts this morning and afternoon and evening is the Bond villain himself, Mr. Kiltman 42, the bald and the beautiful man. How are you?
I'm doing well, Mikey. How are you today?
I'm good. I had to go get right with the Lord and the wrestling gods, apparently.
Yeah, you did.
No, I apologize for being late. We're good. So before we jump into WWE, because, well, at least I know for sure, me and Professor also have somewhat of a long day ahead of us.
We'll try. I got to grade 100 things, read 3 plays, and watch AEW. I'm going to cook my brain.
This will be me too. I'm so excited. We'll cook our brains together. But before we get into WWE this week, if you like what you see on this screen and you want to see us do more shenanigans, you can check out our social media sites at BC WrestlePod, pretty much anywhere and everywhere where our report cards for the pay-per-views, out of context clips that are definitely not going to come and haunt us down the line later.
I'm not running for public office. It's fine.
It is great. I mean, hey, you know what? Never say never, because we have some wrestlers who have ran and successfully into public office in some capacity.
Wasn't Kane a mayor?
He governor. Still is. He's still the governor of Knox County, if I am correct.
That's great. And then, of course, Ventura, the governor of Minnesota, they're out there.
Yeah, I think Kane was definitely a mayor. I think he did a governor tour. I'm not 100% sure, but obviously Jesse Ventura.
That's a Texas thing, right? Like you can run it's not parish. Parish is in Louisiana, but you could run like a section of the state, right? That kind of thing.
Yeah. So mayor, you have a mayor, which is a city. There's a county commissioner, or there's a county spot that's kind of like in between city, state, and
yeah. Chicago has like aldermans and other stuff like that. Anyway, pro wrestlers in government, nothing could go wrong.
Crazy. Well, speaking of things going wrong, we shall talk about the things that went wrong and right with Raw and SmackDown this week. I know I'm kind of speeding through, but there's a lot to talk about, and I want to get to our Emmy and Oscar award-winning segment on SmackDown this week, because that, to me, is the best women's segment that we have gotten in a couple of years.
I want to talk about it, because I might have a different take, but we'll talk about it.
Ooh, drama. Anyways, let's jump on in. We're going to start off with Monday Night Raw this week. And we kick things off with CM Punk addressing everything that went down at Elimination Chamber. Punk is amazing. Rock, you bald fraud. It's like, oh, we're going there this evening. I loved it.
Everything about this was great. There is no complaints about this promo. It was phenomenal, and we'll go over this when we go over a SmackDown's opening promo as well. But holy crap, this was good.
CM Punk calls out The Rock. He calls out Cena, calling them a hypocrites. He also, my other favorite line is, Becky, you better come get your man before I do. And then thus Seth Rollins interrupts, and we have like a good 10-minute brawl through the crowd, around the arena, on the stage. These two had to be pulled apart, and they're looking to kill each other, which I am here for.
Oh, it's great.
So good. These two could fight forever, honestly, and I would not be upset about it.
It was brilliant.
It'll be fun.
Yeah, I only saw clips of it. I heard about it throughout the week, and I was like, I gotta go check this out. And I think like the last 3 minutes are obviously there because of Seth and everything, but all the CM Punk was in fine form. It's on my promos of the year. It made my list, so I'm happy.
Yeah, it's definitely on my list.
Come back to you, Seth, later in Raw because it sets up something very interesting for Raw tomorrow night. But after this amazing opening promo, once again backstage teasing a new member of the Judgment Day. We're probably going to do a slow burn for this. The fractures between Dominic and Finn are still going. That has been your Judgment Day update for the week. So,
was there a Dirty Sanchez reference in this promo or another promo?
I think it was later with Finn and Braun because we'll also get to them.
I read that quickly and went, "What'd you say?" Anyway, carry on.
So, next up, we do get a small Gunther promo. Same thing that he's been talking about, how he is a great champion. Jay has no chance, and he's going to prove it this evening. So we get a match between him and man. Gunther knows how to work with anybody and make them look credible. I already knew that Otis wasn't going to win. He did get some shots. This was a little bit of a Haas match towards the middle, which was fun to watch. But ultimately, Gunther does pick up the victory here. He continues to beat up on Otis after the match. Juicy Jey Uso comes out, Juicy Uso himself, on the social medias. I need him and Orange Cassidy to become an impromptu tag team because you have freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy and Juicy Uso Jey Uso. Anyways, so Jey comes out. There's a fight. Gunther eventually gets the upper hand and rude.
This has become a motif of wrestling recently, this sort of Captain Morgan standing on the back or head of opponent thing. Used to be crazy disrespectful in the 70s and 80s, and it's sort of made its way back.
I mean, again, we got like 9 weeks of this, so we shall see. I'm hoping that Jay doesn't just get beat up every single week, but leading into
for
Mania,
10 weeks to just get smashed.
Because then I'll be like, I might actually get mad if Gunther doesn't win after beating up Jey Uso for 10 whole weeks on TV. And then for Jay to win at Mania, I'm like, I love Jay, but not like this. But yeah, I was like, all right, this was essentially a squash match with progressing what we're getting at Mania. This was cool. I need Palomalo to be here, and this could be the best shampoo hair commercial on the planet. Like, I'm mad. I was like, do you see this luscious hair?
I wasn't watching for a while, obviously. I haven't seen Karrion Kross in so long. This jarred me. Wait, why your hair long? Oh, that's right. I haven't seen you since the summertime.
It is crazy. I love this. But AJ is being interviewed backstage about, coming back and then things like that. At first he ignores, the question about Logan Paul, but then Karrion jumps into the scene and kind of devil on his shoulder, so to speak. And AJ's like, you know what? I'm going to call out Logan Paul next week. I was like, Karrion Kross, man, doing the devil's work, supposedly, like whispering into the ears of these wrestlers to go out and be crazy. Hey, at least
he's got to do something, right?
Yeah.
I'm not sure what else they're using him for.
It gives Karrion something to do.
And they released his whole faction, right? Everyone's gone.
Yeah, pretty much. It's just him and Scarlett. So I will say, though, somebody on the internet pointed it out, and I'm like, you know what? I have to give credence to this theory because Karrion has changed to match the hairstyle of the people he's messing with. When it was Sami Zayn, he put his hair in the bun. Then he was bald at one point. Now he has long hair like AJ. I'm like, listen, I don't have faith in WWE like that when it comes to that, but if this is cerebral mind games like this, I'm kind of here for it. But I want to see Karrion more. Put Karrion more on my screen. I like him. So there we go. A hair commercial.
Shampoo in a nutshell.
Seriously, these two in Palomalo, it would be a great hair commercial. I really like this match. Did I think she was going to win? No, but I'm glad we got this match. Do I wish that we could have waited for a pay-per-view? Yeah, but you know what? These two brought it. Ivy looked really good. Lyra, fantastic as always. And Lyra is still your women's intercontinental champion. Boys, any thoughts?
The small clips and bits and pieces I saw, like I said, I didn't watch all of Raw. This looked great. Other people are saying this is really, really good. It's interesting that we're seeing the titles being used, which is good. We always want to see that. My understanding is there's not a whole lot of story or oomph behind this. It's just sort of happening. Is that your assessment? It's just sort of there.
Right.
Yes and no. It's there because, okay, so the only story that I have here for this title specifically, or at least that I can tell, is the Chad Gable storyline.
Sure.
Where, American Made has to have all the gold and blah, 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 blah.
And
Well, Honey Mustard's sister did really well. And I loved her showing.
That's right. And I don't mean to say that like everything needs an epic story. or something behind it. 'Cause, it could just be a match for a match's sake, and that's fine. I just hope that they're just not diminishing this title, because I feel like she could do a lot with it.
There could be more. There could be more story for this. It literally is so far the only bit and piece I have is from this week, which obviously it is she's Honey Mustard Sisters trying to get gold for the team. That's all I have. Everyone else is kind of, here you go.
I mean, it definitely reeks of, we need to keep these guys busy while Chad Gable, which we'll talk about him in a little bit, going into the back alleys of Mexico, Tijuana, like behind the stadium. Like, I don't know what's happening. So I'm just like, okay. So, but again, I really like the match, but I also agree that this is kind of just placeholder. Hopefully we give Lyra something more meaningful as we get closer to Mania, or even close to Mania. But time will tell, as I say with a lot of these things. But this was great. This was a fun match. The girls are fighting, but it's CM Punk and Seth Rollins. I mean, they're fighting like two ex-girlfriends over a boy. It's kind of silly. But the fight continues backstage, and they brawl.
And now, kiss.
Yes, and now.
With the dolls. And now, I know they had issues, over 10 years ago, and they hated each other. And there's interviews that they've said that they've kind of buried it, and they're willing to work professionally, and they're actually pretty copacetic backstage. And I wonder how much of this is real or not real, or how much, because it's working really well. Neither one of them are sort of, what's the word, bearing the lead, I guess, of the other, or saying they're professional or not professional, or whatever else. It's just pure heat and theatricality, and it works. And they're supporting each other, they're giving each other spots. Like, it's pretty cool.
Mikey,
yeah.
See what
I was like, why is this so quiet? I know I don't have anything more to add.
I was like, I didn't drop the mic or nothing. It just got silent.
What's going on?
It's crazy. But speaking of crazy, so Punk and Seth were fighting. We go to commercial break. We come back. Adam Pearce is escorting Seth with the security outside to his bus, where Adam's like, really, man, you gotta be doing this. Seth's like, there's only one way that we're gonna end this. And so Adam Pearce is like, fine, you want to end this? Next week, you and Punk will end this. One final match, but it will be inside a steel cage. So tomorrow night, we are getting Seth versus Punk in a steel cage match. Cue the Roman Reigns costing Seth coming tomorrow, which I'm excited for, if it's true.
Dude, that'd be nuts.
Yeah, that would be cool. Definitely.
I want to see Jon Moxley rappel in on the rope, full Shield gear, just to chair one of them and just have everyone lose their mind.
I mean, it would be more compelling than Death Rider storyline, but ayo. Hey, so tune in for the watch along for Revolution tonight to hear our thoughts about those in more detail. But tomorrow night on Raw, we are getting a steel cage match. So I was like, hey, I'm never going to see no. I'm an easy person in terms of my wrestling. Give me violence and give me pseudo death, and we're good to go. So this is going to be a fun match for tomorrow. Ludwig Kaiser's talking trash. Penta whoops that ass. That is this segment.
Basically.
Yeah.
Is Fenix coming?
You know what? The rumor report is that now that he's a free agent, I would not be surprised if he makes his debut post WrestleMania.
If if Chad Gable pulls some shit and then the Lucha Brothers reunite oh my god,
this will be crazy.
I'm excited because I'm waiting for this bit because I have thoughts, and I've said this in the chat. I'm waiting for but
I am so excited when Rey Fenix comes to WWE. It's gonna be so beautiful. But yeah, Ludwig talks a lot of smack, and Penta comes up and whoops that ass. So we are going to feud with this. Whether or not this leads to a WrestleMania match for the IC belt, we shall see. With all of that, Braun, we're gonna come get to you in a little bit. So
about this so madly. Oh my god, I have two theories. It's El Generico 2.0 or it's the Return of the Hurricane.
Oh my. But yeah, Chad Gable's in the backstreet alley of Tijuana, Mexico City, Ensenada, if you will. And he's given this box. I was like, oh Lord, here we go. We're getting Luchador Chad Gable, which for some reason I'm not upset about, or something. I'm like, what's in the box?
He might be able to pull it off.
For
we
real.
don't know. He could have been training this whole time, and then all of a sudden he comes back and is some sort of Diablo Blanco, like some ridiculous, like, oh my god, what the hell is that? That'd be wild.
I'm excited. There is no doubt in my mind that in that box is a mask. What type of mask? I don't know. Do I have desires for it to be a lucha mask? Yes, because
It has
So-
blonde on it, like All Might, and it's just half the face.
Oh my
Yes!
god. Yes, sir, you are an anime nerd at heart, and I love you.
It shows up every now and then. I know my manga. Come on now.
Love you so much. But I'm excited to see where this goes. Is it gonna be stupid? Maybe, but I am here for it. Oh, absolutely. It's probably
it's gonna be absolutely fearless. But
Is it going to be
great.
stupid? Maybe. But I'm here for it.
Exactly.
No, there's no maybe. It is going to be stupid, but it's going to be great.
Like Adolfo and Will and I say all the time when we review CMLL, sometimes wrestling just needs stupid fun.
I think the only way this could have been better is if they did like a Pulp Fiction and he's choosing masks instead.
Yes.
And we don't see the one he picks and he just kind of looks and grabs it. And it's like a gold dust mask or something weird like that. Like, who knows? This could be
He
wild.
changes
man.
masks every
I
week.
didn't even think about Gold Dust. I was
Oh, yeah.
And the
Anything
only-
Ooh.
the only thing that originally came to my mind when it came to Hurricane was 'cause I was just going through I was going through Facebook the other day, and one of my favorite comedians who played Squirrely Dan on Letterkenny was wearing
yeah.
a Hurricane t-shirt.
Yes.
And I'm like, that could be a good direction.
It's
Oh
a-
my god.
Or it's a Vader mask.
Who knows what it is?
It's
It'd
just
be
some
great.
sort of throwback. That could be cool too.
It would just be something stupid, something just on brand.
The Wonder Bread bag.
I want it. If that's the case, I love bread.
There's just
Anyway.
like strategic ones hidden throughout the ring. It's just like he goes under. It looks like he's gonna grab a table. It's just a thing of bread.
Like
He's
I
doing
need
the
to
Al
have-
Snow thing. Bread, 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 bread.
He'll become the white bread.
Oh, to the honey mustard and all of them.
It writes itself. Hire
It
me,
does.
creative. Let's go.
Seriously creative. Like we can consult you guys on all this stuff. Seriously. But I'm excited to see where this goes. It's going to be dumb. It's going to be silly. It's going to be a grand time. Okay, this was definitely much better than the DQ finish we got a couple of weeks ago. God, look at those beards. They're majestic.
They are. I'm
They,
jealous.
they look mean now. Like they looked cool before, and I love it because I'm a nerd for that stuff. But they just look like bruisers.
I love it. So we do have our World Tag Team Championship match. So this is the second championship match of the evening out of 3, where we have the War Raiders of Eric and Ivar defending the titles against American Made and the Creed brothers. So Julius and Brutus, otherwise known as Honey Mustard and whatever condiment you feel like today for the other
No,
one.
no. The Creed brothers are the Mayo brothers. It's Hellman's and Miracle Whip.
So the Mayo brothers versus, oh God, don't mug me for my money in the back alley of the War Raiders. Honestly, though, I feel like they give great hugs, though. I'm not gonna lie. Especially with seeing Ivar in interviews. I'm like, oh my God, you're the sweetest. I love you so much. Anyways, so I thought this was definitely a lot better because we didn't get a DQ finish. I thought this was a really great match. And we went through 2 commercial breaks with this too, which was a lot of fun. But of course, the War Raiders do retain their championships. Once again, American Made could not get the job done this evening. So all 3 rookies of American Made, if you will, have to answer to Master Chad Gable when he comes back from learning the dark arts of Lucha Libre. So I'm sad that this is over. I don't think we're getting another one. I'm really hoping that we give War Raiders another team to feud with. If not, because while we've complained about SmackDown, at least we have 5 interchangeable SmackDown tag teams that are in and out of the tag team title picture. Raw doesn't have that right now. So
It's Raw. I think only has 4 at the moment, and honestly, 2 are feuding with each other, and 2 are actually taking things relatively seriously. And I just realized something we could call Chad Gable. You said All Might earlier, Professor.
oh,
I
no.
said Wonder Bread. It's going to be all white.
You're banned. All right, we're moving on.
He's just handing out fingernails for them to eat. Here, take part of my body. It's gonna get real weird real quick.
Oh, yes.
It was weird when I saw it animated. It was already weird enough when I read it too. I was like, it's still weird even to this day. But you know
The
what? I got
dude
past
doing
it.
the American dub for season 1 for All Might. That guy's just crazy. You be sure that you like. What are you doing?
I think I believe it's Christopher Sabat, which I love him
Is it
to
really?
death. Yeah, he
Wow.
voices some of my all-time favorite characters too. But anyways, that's a whole nother podcast. If you want us to start an anime podcast, let us know.
Hey,
But
Mikey,
anyway.
we should start an anime podcast.
We're gonna write that down and we'll figure out something. We'll figure out what to do with it. But let's just move forward with this wide shot angle was kind of fire.
Oh man, look at that album. When that album drops, damn.
This is gonna be the hottest mixtape ever.
Seriously.
Seriously though. So we get this pre-tape promo from LWO, by reminding us that they've been feuding with the New Day Sucks for a month now. And so now next week, now that Rey Mysterio has returned, we are getting Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee versus New Day Sucks in a tornado tag team match tomorrow night on Monday Night Raw. Listen, I love me a good tornado tag match. It is chaos incarnate, and I am here for all of it. But again, I love these pre-tape promos. I was like, give me this cinematography every time, and I am good with it.
It was Chris being the original All Might voice actor.
Called it. I love it. So this tornado tag team match should be a lot of fun tomorrow night. So there we go. Okay, so I had to scour through social media because I watched the replay of this, and normally when you watch it live, you get like through the commercial break before the next segment. But because I watched the replay, we cut part of this promo out, so I had to scour the internet and the social medias to get this part. But Braun is talking to Jackie Redmond, talking about how he is an indomitable IC champion, which then prompts, Finn Balor to come out and interrupt him, so to speak. And then we get into a fight of some sort. Judgment Day and Braun Breaker be fighting. Dominic is holding on to Finn for dear life, like, Lord save me. It seems, if we're not getting a multi-man match, it seems that we are building towards Braun and Finn for the IC title at WrestleMania, which is cool and everything, but I'm hoping it's the Demon Finn Balor versus Braun at Mania for that title.
I thought they retired Demon Finn Balor. I've been calling for Demon ever since Adam Copeland ripped his head
teasing him
open.
in the background every time we see the Judgment Day. Like, there's pictures of him in the clubhouse and everything. So I'm like, don't tease me like this, Triple H.
Full body paint. Crazy shit. Come on.
Yes, because Braun Breaker, the dogs are barking. He crazy for real. But there's only one other entity in WWE right now that can match that level of craziness that is on Raw, and that is Demon Finn Balor. Like last week when we got that stare down in the ring, I was like, when they were on, and to preface this, this is not meant to be crazy or out of pocket, but there's no other way to describe it. When they were in the ring on the knees, face to face with each other, looking like dogs, I'm just like, oh, this is going to be epic. Please let it be Demon Finn Balor. But Braun be fighting with everybody. He has beef with everyone on this roster right now. So I'm just like, honestly, anybody could fight him at Mania and I would be okay with it.
And not to talk too much about this, we got a whole other thing to talk about. I think that's okay. Some of these folks are getting hyper specific in certain storylines, and we see how, at least short term, that just like LA Knight Shinsuke, that kind of contracts everything you're trying to do within a few weeks. Like, have him hate everyone. No one can stop him. Just let him run rampant for a while. I think that's fun.
For reals. So this was an interesting segment, and I'm okay with it. Yes, Kiltman in the little private chat. I love him so much. He's great.
Chris Sabat is phenomenal. I'm going to go off on a tangent because he is an amazing, amazing person. He has done so many voices, all of which are like it's mostly stereo. Like, he did Piccolo, and
isn't he Vegeta too? Isn't he doing all that stuff? Yeah,
he's done.
If you were doing voiceover from 95 to 2000, you got in right in that sweet spot to where you could get all those good characters. There were only maybe 30, 40 people doing voiceover regularly at the time. And those folks are still around 30 years later, killing it.
They're helping record for some of these studios and everything as well. So it's a lot of fun.
Nolan North, Tara Strong, all of them got in right in that perfect time, to golden age type.
Sonny Strait, Troy Baker. Oh, shoot. Well, Roy Mustang.
Troy Baker. I teach Troy Baker in my class.
Roy Mustang would be Travis Willingham, and also Laura Bailey too, because outside of before Critical Role was a thing, they were respectively Roy Mustang, and also for Laura Bailey, she was Haru in one of my favorites ever, Fruits Basket.
I have a small little piece of a little nugget of stupid intelligence, as I'm going to call it, about Travis Willingham. He was in Secondhand Lions, and in one of the big fight scenes, he got decked by one of the main actors. I don't remember which one it was. It was great.
Love it. It's fantastic. And that's what I want to see between these two. Just let them fight. Great. This was a good back and forth. Towards the end, Rhea and Bianca kind of get a little bit physical. And to my pleasant shock and surprise, your winner and new World Heavyweight Women's Champion, Io Sky. And I'm just like, oh, her versus Bianca is going to be great. But I still feel that it's going to be a triple threat with Rhea being added to it in some capacity. I don't care what combo we get, because any combination of those three women involved for this championship, give it to me now.
Yes. Like, there was I saw an interview on social media afterwards because I didn't see it in the recording that I saw that I had for Raw. Rhea backstage just upset, not at Io took the title from me. Bianca interfered with the match. It's like, no, I messed up. I was the one who got distracted and allowed for this to happen. And it's like a lot of people, or at least a lot of characters, have been doing the finger pointing in the game. And it's not I'm the one who's doing it. And that actually made me kind of like, okay, I like her a lot more.
No, I'm glad you brought that up too, Kilt, because this is something I've been saying. I love I love Mommy. Like, her domination over the women's division has been such a fun one. But now this direction of, picking up the pieces and building back up to get back to the title picture, I'm like, I'm here for this Rhea Ripley. Because also in that promo too, she talks about how, she doesn't have Judgment Day. Damian Priest is no longer here. So now she's truly feeling the weight of no longer has her championship. She has to build herself back up. She's on her own for right now. And she needs to, get back to the title picture and to try to regain what's hers. So this could be a very interesting journey for Rhea into Mania and how this character goes. But this is a fun moment. Professor, you also look like you had some thoughts on this too.
No, I like the setup for it. I'm excited that we're actually defending and the titles are at risk on Monday night and Friday nights. I think that makes it more compelling and interesting to watch. I don't think a title got exchanged all of 2022 or 2023 or 2024 on Raw or SmackDown or whatever. Lots of number one contenderships, maybe once or twice somewhere in the course of 3 years or so. But now as we'll talk later, we're having titles exchange pretty regularly all of a sudden. Like, oh, there's a reason to watch these things. Of course, Netflix and all the other deals that we have. I have not watched this match. I heard the summary of it. It sounds amazing. I'm happy for Io Sky. I still am not sold on triple threats, but these three doing it makes it fun for me. So I'm like, okay, that's cool. But this sort of triple threat as a cop-out to not wanting to really finesse the story is kind of driving me nuts. But the three of them, I could see it. And I think they would all complement each other. I think the three of them could pull it off.
Oh, absolutely. And that is what brings us to the end of Raw. So now let's get into SmackDown, which definitely was an improvement over the last 2 weeks. And dare I say, this was probably the best 3-hour SmackDown that we've gotten since they've gone 3 hours, with still some ups and downs. But I wasn't rolling my eyes the whole entire time like I was the last 2 weeks. There was a lot of character development and backstage setup too. So that's going to be a good chunk of this, with also some matches in between. But let's kick things off with Randy Mother Tucking Orton beginning and kicking off, Smack.
This
Randy
promo is so amazing. I like, hey, John, how's it like being the Rock's bottom?
Just totally. And now he's a bottom for the Rock. Oh, wait, you get it? Rock. But like, just totally dad jokes it. I thought this promo was fantastic.
Randy Orton has come into his own of being like, I'm going to kick you in the face, but I also have dad jokes. Like,
I don't know if it'll be there the rest of the year, but I'm going to throw this in there for the consideration.
For your consideration. No, so this is setting everything up. And of course, this also sets up, he wants to kick Kevin Owens in the face, which I'm like, me too. But not like the actual person, but the wrestling character. But we better be getting Randy and KO at some capacity. Like, give me that match at Mania. If it's not a Mania, Hunter, we're going to have words. But great promo. This is a fun way to kick off. We're going to talk about another male superstar who did a promo, and I have issues with that one when we get to it later. So we get Piper Niven versus, Tiffany Stratton in a non-title match. Tiffany picks up the victory, and for the third week in a row, Charlotte Flair destroys Tiffany, putting her in a figure eight, and then Tiffany just rolling out into the corner, dying. I know that Tiffany is the underdog in this because it's Charlotte Flair, but I'm really hoping, like I said with Jay and Gunther, I don't need to see Charlotte Flair beating up Tiffany every single week. I need Tiffany to start fighting back.
I still think that the Charlotte was supposed to come back and be a face, but who knows? Backstage politics or her not compromising and her just jumping to the front of the line like she always does, even though she is fantastic. All the fans kind of flipped and went, no, we don't like you. You're not going to be a face, especially when Tiffany's here. So now I don't mind it. It's a little heavy-handed. If they go back to the well for a fourth time, then it's going to be a little like, okay, well, why are we even doing this? Come on, but we'll see.
I am not impressed at all. But literally, as soon as I saw this, I was like, because I was starting to skip through the match because my ADHD was starting to kick in very heavy, and I was wanting to get. And I saw her come out. I'm like, okay, what are you doing? oh, you're just gonna jump in and do the okay. This is just same thing last week, same thing the week since you came back. You're just gonna jump in, attack, say something, get a big boo, get the reaction from the crowd, which will bring off a lot of heat, and it's so predictable. And I want to see her actually do something besides talk and jump out from the shadows.
Yeah, so again, we got 9 weeks. Hopefully Tiffy fights back. Yeah, I have nothing else to say. Moving on. So after we get a very fun murder board-esque scene from Nick Aldis backstage, chronologically like telling us and recapping this whole tag team like on SmackDown of what happened, where everybody went. So next week in Barcelona, Spain, we are getting the Profits versus DIY for the championship. And then this match was to determine who would be up next after then. So we had Los Garza, the Motor City Machine Guns, and the Yes is Pretty Deadly. The Pretty Deadly win, you guys. I was just like, Triple H, Hunter, don't do this to me because I want to see Pretty Deadly hold these tag titles at some point.
I hope they do. I have a bad feeling about this. And I don't want to, I don't even want to say it, but I'm going to say it because that's our job, is saying these things out loud. I loved this. I thought this was fun. I normally hate these type of matches. I've talked about it. I thought that Pretty Deadly was going to get screwed and they were just going to push him aside again and then make them wait a little bit longer. But the fact that they're in this picture right now is great. That makes me happy because Pretty Deadly's doing interesting things and they kind of deserve to be seen and recognized for this. And I feel like they could. They're trying really, they're not totally shifting Pretty Deadly character. They're making them a little more face, but and a little more vicious in their ways. And I'll say this is more social commentary than anything. If you're going to get two fabulous musical theater kids with long hair and you're going to make them the face of your tag division, it takes a lot of huevos they don't have to make it be a long run, right? It's going to tune off half the country and they're going to go, I don't like it. They're British and kind of gay, even though that's,
Are they gay or European?
Exactly. Right. We're back to this. We were talking about this at some point, right?
That was our first interaction with these guys on quoting Blonde the Musical.
So I really hope that they get their flowers and they do something special for them because the fans love them. But I think Papa Helmsley could do it. I think the McMahon influence would be like, no, bury them. But I'm hopeful. I just hope they're not just some transitional. They get the championship and then they lose it 2 weeks later on SmackDown. You know what I mean? Like something stupid like that.
Give them at least like 1 or 2 pay-per-view cycles before losing.
They deserve to be seen for that.
And for us who watch NXT UK, they've proven they can be long-term champions by, having the titles with them when they go do everything. They literally took the titles with them in a pre-tape segment with the British version of Thunder from Down Under in NXT UK, and it was glorious. These guys have everything. I think that the complete package. I just need Triple H and creative to be confident enough to pull the trigger and give these guys, something. I mean, the crowd loves them. They're over with the crowd. But now it's time to let these characters, be these characters and be a little, hey, with it. Like, I could say it. Let them be queer tag team champions. Like, are they gay or European? Doesn't matter because they can still kick ass in the ring.
I think that's the thing. And over in AEW, where that is encouraged and, flies, WWE has always and I don't know. Not to go down that rabbit hole either.
They literally wrestle in like not even a crop top. It's like half of a crop top. Like,
come on.
It's fantastic. So that takes care of that. Like I said, we're getting DIY and the Street Profits next week in Barcelona, Spain, which makes me excited. Should be fun. Okay, so me and Professor might fight because I like this. He has words. But I also have some critiques too. But Bianca comes down to the ring and she wants answers, and Naomi comes out in this bedazzled neck brace, which I love, by the way. And Naomi's like, you know what? I did it not for The Rock, but for Bianca. Naomi says she's the one that pushed Jade. She did it for Bianca. Bianca will understand as time goes on. And then we just get like this looks like somebody cheated with somebody. Like the tears were flowing. I'm like, I want to know where Bianca and Naomi, especially Naomi, went to for that place to make those tears flow. I'm like, oh, I can see the darkness you're going to. Oh, don't stay there. Oh, come back to me. Oh, I'm like, who hurt you guys? Like, what happened? That's what I want to know.
You can definitely tell that she decided that they took this direction and, speech conversation from her father-in-law.
Oh, oof. So these two are going back and forth. Bianca's like, I can't even look at you right now. Me and you are done. Bianca leaves. She's crying. You know, Naomi's still in the ring pleading for Bianca to come back. Like, they still need to talk this out. Naomi then turns to the crowd and mentions, like, every time I clock in and I defend myself, all y'all turn on me. I'm just like, she's not wrong, though, because when she and Sasha, now known as Mercedes Moné, were vocal about how the women's tag team championships were being treated, the company, the internet, the fans poo-pooed on both of them. And then when it came out, all the stuff that happened, then they wanted to support Naomi. And Naomi's like, girl, bye. I'm going to be in here in TNA for a little bit, where she rocked it in TNA before coming back. So I'm just like, y'all are crazy. But then the turning point in all of this, she's yelling for Bianca to come back. And then she doubles down and says, you know what, B, you're right. The truth is, I should have pushed her harder. I was like, oh shit, here we go. And then she calls Bianca, is like, you know what? You are an ungrateful bitch. I was like, and there it is. Cue, the storm is coming, because then Jade comes in an Escalade, gets out in her pumps and her heels, walks with a purpose backstage. She and Bianca eye each other, and without there's a picture I forgot to include on here, but there's just a lovely shot of Bianca just looking at Jade, non-verbally giving her the okay. Jade gets down to the ring and beats up Naomi. This outfit, though, from Jade. Yes, ma'am.
Covered in blood. Perfect. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna go acting teacher. They gave them a lot of time to do this. They sort of let this segment ride because we got 3 hours to fill. And I'm not going to grade them on their acting. I think they needed to get to the thing they were fighting for way sooner in this, because they sat there for 45 seconds. Oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah, 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 oh yeah, yeah, and killed their own momentum. I'll say this. They manufactured those emotions way too hard. They could have taken a breath and taken it personal and sat in this a little differently. And I think it could have been the magic that they wanted. I think Bianca really got herself in this very frustrated, oh my God, place, and couldn't relax into this. And as acting teacher, when I see scenes like that or students like that, it kills me, because I'm like, oh, you're feeling all the things, but you're not letting yourself feel all the things because whatever else. So that for me as acting teacher took me out a little bit, like all the things that I would have coached or said. So I can ignore that and then go as pure wrestling fan. Why it made her weaker in the sense that there was a time where Bianca would have went, you did this to my friend, I'm done with you, right? Where we could have really seen Bianca turn around and go, did you really do that to Jade and use me? Yes, I did. And we see Bianca throw hands instead and go, I can't believe you did this to me, instead of making Bianca the emotional pivot for the whole thing.
Right.
That kind of jarred me a little. It just made it not lesser, because I don't want to say that, but sort of, we know Bianca's smarter than that and more diligent than that. And then it also made Naomi's a little childish to me. We're sort of like, yeah, I pushed her. I'll push her again. It's like, okay, well, wait, what was this? So I just it missed a little for me storytelling wise. Jade fixed it.
She definitely fixed it.
Right.
Now, I want to kind of throw a wrench into this, because this is what we're seeing right now. But my storyteller brain in me is saying, I was like, I don't think this is it. Yeah, Naomi admitted to it, but I don't think she was acting alone. And this would be the biggest mind blown, and I would give it, as a wrestling fan, I would love that Naomi and Bianca are playing Jade, and Bianca orchestrated this whole thing with everything. Because I'm like, this can't just be it. There's something else that's missing in this story. Again, that's just my brain as a writer and a storyteller that's going into overdrive. I'm like, maybe it's not as deep as I'm thinking, but I feel that there's a piece of the story missing. I was like, I don't think this is the whole story.
I think it's if this was a whole thing to get Jade over, which then makes it tough on Bianca and Naomi. So like, hey, we're going to do this year-long storyline just to get Jade up. Okay. But you're going to get a Tyler run in there. You're going to get some stuff in there for sure. That's possible. That's a swerve for sure. I do feel, I hope they don't do the whole, and there's one more tape you never saw, and it's Bianca telling Naomi to go push Jade or something like that.
Yeah, that, like, we can't make it too obvious, but so here's the thing. So I know a lot of people are saying, well, a lot of wrestling fans on the internet say they don't want to see Jade and Naomi fight one-on-one at Mania. And I'm like, I do. I was like, why are we trying to keep black women off of WrestleMania? Y'all said the same thing last year when we had these 3 fight damage control and you didn't want to see it. I was like, you don't want melanated skin on your card, whether it be black or Latino. But that's, That's
Sure.
people are not ready to have that conversation. I will say, if we do get Naomi and Jade can afford a loss, I feel like if you want to solidify her as a heel, she needs to win at Mania.
They're gonna DQ or injury or something weird, or like you just mentioned, that would be the time to play it. They're not gonna do, some street fight match, right? They're gonna try and do something straight to make it work. We were all really excited for Naomi to come back, and Naomi's gotten the work. I hope she's just not written into a corner now with this angle. Because we all kind of saw it. We all sort of saw something coming, and we went, "Oh, it's this." But
so
we'll see.
Yeah, Kilt, I know me and Professor have been talking a lot, but did you have any thoughts about this segment and, the post Jade fist to Naomi beatdown afterwards? Maybe so. No? Okay. Moving on. I'm just kidding. Cool. Drew McIntyre beat up Damian Priest at the beginning of the night and says, "I'll do it again." That's literally this backstage segment.
It's the goofy meme, and I do it again.
Drew, within the last 2 years, has become like my favorite outside of Nyla Rose, like wrestling character trolling people on the internet and other wrestlers on the internet. Listen, never in my wildest dreams did I think a Scottish wrestler would be able to use Kendrick Lamar in the diss the correct way. And I was like, on social media, I was like, Drew McIntyre's invited to the cookout, y'all. He's invited to the quince. He's invited to the cookout. And
not to go down this rabbit hole either, but the first official definition of appropriation came from the Scottish courts in the early 1900s. Oh.
Funny enough, that's not the first time I heard that. Will told me that earlier this week as well. So it's like, the more you know. Will gets it, Professor. Will gets it.
I'll be right back.
Go for it. We got Solo Sikoa and Braun Strowman, but then this is caused by a DQ. Braun fights everybody, and Jacob Fatu goes through a table. Glorious. I have no notes. This is Braun Strowman in a Braun Strowman match. Love him.
My only note is more tables.
Yes, more tables. We're almost at the breaking point. Jacob's about to have it in a couple of weeks. So if we do get Solo and Jacob, I'm here for Jacob Fatu just decimating and running through everybody. Yes, please. Let's go. So for the 4th time since the inception of this championship and Chelsea Green getting the title, Michin is challenging Chelsea Green for the 4th time for the Women's United States Championship. So this is our champion Chelsea Green versus Meat for the Women's United States Championship in a street fight. Michin coming out in the Philadelphia Eagles jersey, and Chelsea Green, paying homage to the hardcore originator of Mick Foley, coming out dressed like Mick Foley with the flannel and everything. I was like
Cactus Jack. I'm like, I like it, but are you sure should be the one wearing that?
So, it was a WWE street fight. This was fun. This was entertaining. I knew Chelsea wasn't going to lose her title, but some people are like, I'm just happy that she's still around, because Chelsea was only able to retain because Piper was unable to help after her fight with Tiffany earlier in the night and getting beat up. But returning after a couple of weeks, Alba Fire is now in the Secret Service, and she is Secret Agent A.
No, it's Secret.
Yes, the Secret Hervis. So now Alba Fire is part of Chelsea Green and Piper Niven's little United States cabinet, if you will. So I'm okay with this. I don't know what this means for Alba Fire, but at least she's on my TV screen. So I can't really complain. But yeah, I was like, for the 4th time, Chelsea and Michin fought for this title. Michin couldn't get it done. Here's hoping that we move on to somebody else for Chelsea.
In all honesty, Michin could have gotten this done. There were so many table interruptions which kind of made me a little upset. But if it's not story well, if she wins now, there needs to be something else. Having her win on SmackDown, it wouldn't be that big of a, oh my God, let's do this, that type of situation. And also sets this up, a second Secret Hervis agent, and just it prolongs this storyline, and I think that is a better option than just Michin winning. Now, do I want to see Michin beat the crap out of somebody? That'd be great, because this was an amazing match. I absolutely loved it, especially when you hearing the EC dub chants and get the tables chants, and get the tables.
Yeah, Philly was all about this. It was great.
Like I said, Michin coming out in the Philadelphia's Eagle jersey, which was hilarious to watch too. But yeah, so Chelsea is still your Women's United States Champion, and we now have another member of the cabinet in Alba Fire. So, yay, cool. Next, I call this a hate crime, because why is it that all Latino wrestlers and factions always have to have beef with each other? Okay, so let me set the scene, right? So Santos is upset at Los Garza for not getting the job done and becoming number 1 contenders. And especially Berto here is the one who gets the worst of it. So then Andrade comes in and tells him, hey, man, you shouldn't. Hang on, I can't get his accent right. Hey, man, I'm not going to attempt to do it because Andrade could fight me in real life and I will lose. But Andrade comes in, tells Berto, hey, man, you don't have to take this from him. You know, you don't have to get this abuse. And I'm just like, is Santos and Andrade got to fight? I was like, why got to put brown person against brown person? I was like, did we not learn from the 90s and the 2000s? But will I watch it? Yes, because it would be a banger. I'm mad that Andrade and Santos might potentially fight, but it will be a banger.
Have they had a match since he came up here?
Honestly, and now that I think about it, because I sat with it and I was like, I don't think these two really had much cross pass yet. So I'm like, as much as I don't like Latino on Latino violence, this match is going to slap.
They tried to recruit him, right?
Yeah, and
in
he
the
said
very
no.
beginning, and there was a little bit of forget you too, and then Andrade went and did his own thing after that. Huh.
I was like, you go. So I'm interested. At least it gets, Santos and Andrade doing something.
Sure.
I'm just thinking if Andrade needs backup, I don't think they would do it, but he needs a mystery partner, right? And I'm just like, could you imagine? Because they do have history together. Andrade calling like everybody he knows. And at WrestleMania, if it's Santos and somebody, wouldn't that be a kicker if Andrade's mystery tag team partner ends up being Malachi Black? Because those two have history with each other.
Do they really? Wow.
Well, listen, they had one of my favorite feuds in NXT over that championship when Andrade and Malachi were in black and gold NXT. Also, it would make sense that with Malachi coming back to WWE, he would be on SmackDown anyways because that's where his wife is.
That'd be a trip. I mean, let's see.
So this should be fun. So let's go. We move on. Where are you? There you are. Oh, Cody. So here's the thing. Was this a passionate promo? Yes. Did I like it? Absolutely. I do have a big problem with this though. And again, I'm not in creative. I'm not in control of it. So my thoughts and opinions don't make a dent in the grander scheme of things. However, if you got John Cena, The Rock, and for some odd reason, Travis Scott beating you up at Elimination Chamber, Cody must be a better person than me in terms of character wise, because I would want to get revenge. I will be petty. It is on site next time I see you. Cody took a different direction where he's like, I'm gonna overcome this, I'm gonna bring the fight to them. I'm like, listen here, Cody, I know that is the white person's response to conflict, but I need you to tap into your Cubano roots, and it needs to be on site next time you see Cena and Rock. Like, forget the diplomacy. That went out the window. You need to tap into Homelander and beat the bricks off of everybody. Like, that's my biggest problem. Again, I am not in charge of creative, and I am not Cody Rhodes. Maybe this is the plan all along. But if I were writing for Cody, I would be like, nah, it's on site next time I see you. I was like, I'm tired. I love Cody to death, but I'm tired of the same promos of I'm going to overcome this. I'm like, sir, you are Caucasian. You are white passing at best here in America. Like, no, that is not going to fly with me.
Homelander versus Peacemaker WrestleMania. I have a feeling that's what Ring Gear is going to look similar to. I want it to look similar to when he goes in for WrestleMania, because that would be hilarious. We all know he has the helmet because he stole it. I mean, he tactically acquired it from set.
Tactically.
I'm not saying he allegedly stole it. I'm going to definitely say he tactically acquired it. I know he has it. That's all I know. But yeah, Homelander versus Peacemaker. I want to see Homelander beat the crap out of Peacemaker now.
I like this promo. I agree. That's the match we all want. I think that they got to make him as squeaky clean face as possible, right? And also, I think, and you've talked about this a few times too, Cody's kind of on his own. It's not like everyone's his friend. Everyone's his buddy. But he's not walking to the ring with anyone else. Like, he doesn't have any sort of faction of those around him. It's sort of Cody as Island. I'm that guy. So who comes to defend Cody Rhodes? Well, his friends. Well, who are his friends? Well, his friends are tied up with other things. So all that being said, I think that this is the story they kind of want and need to tell. And it keeps it tidy, keeps it neat. We're also not going to see The Rock or Cena for however long, because they're off doing movies and other stuff right now, right? Like, they're not deeply involved.
Right. So that is very fair when it comes to all of this. So yeah, I mean, that's just me. So hopefully,
well, I'm agreeing with you. He should go find him and slash them tires and break. I mean, we have kick doors. Go cause you trouble.
I just want to see Cody with a little more edge by the time we get to Mania. I don't want him to stay squeaky clean for the whole 9 weeks, because that's
Travis Scott messed up his face, man. Whatever bracelet he was wearing,
that was wild.
Tore him up.
He got this, and then the busted eardrum reportedly too, as well, which is crazy too. So again, squeaky clean Cody is fine, but I'm really hoping to get him a little bit of an edge before Mania, because Squeaky Clean Cody leading into Mania is kind of boring. And we've had somewhat Squeaky Clean Cody the whole entire time for his championship reign. Am I still excited for the match? Oh, absolutely. But let's give more dimension to Cody. But that is just me. What do I know? Randy Orton, the world can never make me mad at you. Sir, you are such a huge nerd. Also, I'm kind of excited for this match next week between Orton and Mello, complaining that Randy Orton has been on the couch for the past couple of months playing Fortnite. And not even Randy picks this cracked me up so much, because Randy doesn't even address the fact that Mello's talking smack behind his back when he walks into the room. He takes more offense at the fact that Mello said he played Fortnite, and he's like, I don't play Fortnite. I was playing Elden Ring. That is what Orton had the biggest problem with in that whole entire statement from Mello. And I was like, sir, you are my favorite person now. Your priorities are correct. But this does set up Orton and Mello next week in Barcelona. So I'm here for it. This is going to be fun. I'm like, weren't we supposed to get this last week? I'm like, wait a minute. Why are we doing this again? I was like, when I looked at what happened when I was watching, I was like, didn't we get this match like not even a week ago? I could be wrong, but I was like, oh no, this is another match. Again, we're constantly in these loop, but Drew McIntyre wins this one. So now they're 1-1. I'm just like, okay, fine.
We need a best of 7. Calling it right now.
Sure.
We're going to see this every week. Even past WrestleMania, we're going to see the two of them. We're going back to Carmelo Andrade.
Oh my goodness. But the interesting facet to all of this is that Damian Priest does what Damian Priest does. Drew attacked him at the beginning of the show, and it's onside. Damian's like, you about to catch these hands, bro. So this is a lovely picture of security trying to hold Damian Priest back. And I was like, yeah, you better hold him back. This is like a 6'2" Puerto Rican man on a mission. He about to stomp Drew McIntyre when he gets the chance. He about to put sugar in that man's gas tank. It's going to be beautiful. So here we go. Main event time. This is for the United States Championship match. This is our challenger, LA Knight, taking on the champion, Shinsuke Nakamura. I actually really like this match. Even after shenanigans with the chair and a mist that gone awry, your winner and your new United States champion is LA Knight. The match itself was a lot of fun. I love these two. Triple H, I have a bone to pick with you, because why can we never let Shinsuke have a good run? That has been his curse since being in WWE.
In this one, I think it's because of the death in the family that was reported.
Probably.
I think that he wanted some time off to spend with his family for mourning. And it's like, okay, well, let's do this so that way we're still able to do it. And then you can go, into the background for a little bit. I think it's great that they did that, if that was the reason.
But here's
That's
my
tough.
counter.
I didn't hear about that. That's sad.
Yeah, so last week when we did the review, because you weren't here for it. But me, Kilt, and Nick, we talked about it because it was reported that Shinsuke's brother died. So because we were supposed to get this match last week on SmackDown, but they changed it to where we have multiple number one contenders matches, and then we had a triple threat to determine the number one contender for it, because Shinsuke had to go deal with it immediately. So, Kilt, you are absolutely right, but I'm going to push back a little bit, because let's remember, and you were here when we saw this live, Kilt, Shinsuke won this title at Survivor Series, which was back in November. Outside of this match, Shinsuke only defended that championship one other time against LA Knight. He's only had 2 title defenses, and on the second one, he lost it back to LA Knight. Now, granted, he could have probably had a long title run, but between November and now, we had done nothing. Shin.
Commentary mentioned that, and I was doing math in my head, like, wait a minute, his second title defense. Wait, and it did not compute until earlier today, and you just now, yeah, that means he only defended it twice since November. What are we doing?
So I do hope, and my thoughts and prayers and everything to Shinsuke and his family in this time of mourning. Anybody who knows Japanese culture, it is a weeks of events and everything with the traditions of Japanese culture and everything. Very beautiful, but very being with your family, very mournful, not like the Western view of mourning for loved ones when they pass on and die and stuff like that. I am happy that LA Knight has it back, because now we could, not to say that Shinsuke wasn't going to do anything fun, but now LA is a good person to hold this championship until we figure out whoever the next person is going to take it from him. Who knows who LA is going to face at WrestleMania for this title, if this title is on the card for Mania. So who knows? But overall, I did not hate the SmackDown, and that takes us to the end of WWE for this week.
Yeah, I thought it was a great SmackDown. I'm happy that LA Knight can say 2-time U.S. champion, like putting a little bit more reputation on the career that he has had, that he has fought for, being in his early 40s. I understand that completely. I like the match. I like what they built, absolutely. And like we all said, we hope Shinsuke gets run later on. Hope his family's all right. Yeah, solid SmackDown. I'm not used to this 3-hour beast still. And is the rumor it's going back to 2, or is it staying 3 for a while?
So it's going to, the rumor is that by the summer, it's going to go, by June, it's going to go back to 2 hours. But until then, we have to get through the spring of 3-hour SmackDowns, which I think we can do.
The filler kills it.
Yeah.
Until they or just add more matches, like put a little bit more in there instead of just the soap opera plugging. But
that is very fair. And yeah, so that brings us to the end of WWE this week. Overall, we are now on the road to WrestleMania, so we're setting up some stuff for Mania matches and all that good stuff. So we got 9 weeks. I'm excited. This is going to be fun. I don't have slides for this, but WWE dropped a whole lot of news. So John Cena will be at the May edition of Saturday Night's Main Event, so that's going to be an interesting one to do. There's also rumored reports, so nothing officially confirmed, but the dirt sheets and the wrestling outlets are reporting that Saturday, July 5th is potentially the return of the Evolution PLE. So the all-women show.
Awesome. That was super cool to hear.
Yes. So I was like, I may or may not have plugged it in for us to do a watch along for that, because I have missed Evolution. And the last one was in 2018-17, I believe. So now how much the women's roster has grown, especially NXT. To think, because that show had like Charlotte and Sasha and Bailey and Becky and Ronda at the time, and that was great. But
so wait, does that mean that week is going to be Money in the Bank, Great American Bash, Evolution, the GCW show, and then the AEW, whatever that is? That week's going to be crazy.
So we haven't gotten confirmed. So this is in July. So July, so far, the only things confirmed is supposedly this Evolution show on the 5th. AEW has Y'all In the following Saturday on the 11th in Texas, but then MLW has a show in July. No, there's not anything else hasn't been confirmed. But the other thing I'm going to talk about is that over Memorial Day weekend is WWE confirmed NXT's pay-per-view, which is Battleground.
Did you just say Y'all In?
Yeah, because it's in Texas. So instead of All In, which is AEW, we're calling it Y'all In 2025 because it's in Texas.
I was just making sure that was what you said. Okay, so it's not an official title. It's just what you're calling it.
Yeah, because they're in Texas. Y'all In 2025 from Texas.
Y'all got some issues.
I don't put it past the AEW to change that title, though.
For real.
Call it that. It'll be hilarious.
We will unofficially make merch for that just for this year alone. Just be like, Y'all In 2025. Get your bootleg AEW shirts right here. But yeah, so the other big thing is that WWE will be taking over the Tampa area for Memorial Day weekend, which includes UFC, which some people like, but also NXT. There's going to be a SmackDown NXT Battleground on Sunday, the 25th. So once again, Memorial Day weekend, the companies just don't want to like space things out because that night, I mean, I won't be here. We won't do it, which sucks, but Double or Nothing is on the same night as Battleground for NXT on Sunday, May 25th. And then there's a Monday Night Raw the following day as well. So tickets are on pre-sale right now. So if anybody in the, Tampa area that wants to go to a Raw, SmackDown, or NXT, good luck, because those ticket prices are kind of crazy right now.
Let me go see, because that's my town. Well, it's like an hour south of me, but whatever.
Right. So at least go to the NXT show, because the NXT shows are great. Literally, I believe it's Tampa. Yeah, it is Tampa. So
yeah, NXT Tuesday the 27th, Monday Night Raw is in Tampa on the 26th. Battleground is in Tampa on the 25th. Saturday Night Main Event is on the 27th.
Yep. Which
I'm gonna try for those tickets first, and then I'm gonna go for Raw.
So while Kill is going to be doing that, we do got to get up on out of here. But and especially for two of us here, we want at least somewhat of a break because I got to hop back on in like 2.5 hours for AEW stuff. But thank you so much for tuning into this rendition of Dual Dynasty. We will be back next week, next Sunday, hopefully with the full squad. But until then, from all of us here at Dual Dynasty and the BC WrestlePod family, remember, take care of yourself, love one another, stay iconic, and more importantly than anything, you always deserve to finish your story. We will catch you later, but until then, And
Thank you so much for tuning in to another Vibe Tribe production. What's gonna happen next time? Well, you're gonna have to tune in to find out. But until then, remember, take care of yourself, love one another, and as always, make sure that you keep the good times rolling. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you next time.